What's up guys, Houndish here. Today, it is Thursday, so Bungie give us the weekly blog post in the form of the TWID. The weekly tradition dropping a bit earlier this week. They've been slightly later over the past few weeks, and since I'm in the UK, I've had a tendency to be falling asleep by the time they actually drop because, well, I'm slowly becoming an old man. Anyway, let's focus on the content at hand. In the TWID, Bungie talk about the return of Arms Week, which will be focusing on shotguns. They speak about some of the weapon volatile mods that we had last time around as well. I'd completely forgot they existed, but they were actually pretty cool to be fair. Otherwise, there are some additional weapon changes which will be dropping in the update next week, so we'll round up those. And Bungie give a preview of the exotic mission, Heliostat, which is where we'll earn the exotic axe, of course. And that does look pretty cool to be fair. Additionally, they talk about some of the terms and conditions, or should we say rules, on how it's going to work, the normal variant versus other variants. There's some weird reward stuff going on with that. Otherwise, there's known issues, epic raid recaps, and kind of predictable stuff. So we'll focus on the more important or juicier bits, I suppose, in terms of upcoming changes and content previews first. As always, if you guys enjoy this one, a rating really does help us out. Otherwise, let's get into it. So initially, Arms Week returns. That will be on October 7th, and Bungie say Ada 1's been iterating on a new shotgun volatile weapon mod, or weapon mods, sorry. And when Arms Week returns, be sure to visit her in the shooting range to pick up a shotgun and complete challenges to unlock the new shotgun volatile weapon mods. Of course, these mods are limited time, and we can put them in any legendary shotgun. Funnily, they don't seem to actually speak about the specific rewards for Arms Week. As I've discussed previously, I believe Trachinus or Trachinus, whatever the hell it's called at this point, that's going to be the key featured weapon. We'll also have the option to focus for some older legendaries, which are somewhat more appealing now than they were at the start of Edge of Fate because Bungie have scrapped some of the kind of new gear stuff that was actually affecting scoring, but they add that we'll also be able to acquire the previous hand cannon volatile weapon mods. And I guess those will be usable during Arms Week as well. But for the new shotgun mods, firstly, there is unstable shells and landing precision hits, or most of a pellet spread will attach a delayed explosive to the target. Then there's illegal trigger, and every shell fired increases the rate of fire for a short time, and the magazine size and reserves are increased beyond their normal limits. Otherwise, we've got aftershock, and weapon final blows create a wave of energy behind the target. So they sound pretty cool on paper. I look forward to trying them out. Last time with the hand cannon mods, like I said, they were pretty good, so that's an additional fun component on top of the rewards. On top of Arms Week drop-in, we will get a patch at reset next week, and they say, while 9.15 is overall a small update, we have some changes that we believe will have a noticeable impact on the Crucible experience, and primarily we want to focus our attention on the close range weapon meta, and on the balance between primary and special weapon usage. So first up, for the ammo system in Crucible, they say while the special ammo meter system allows you to heavily invest in it and obtain sufficient uptime, players who don't invest are struggling to earn even a minimal amount of ammo. We want to make sure not to increase the amount of ammo available at the high end, while bringing the low end up and making it more reasonable to run a special weapon, even without heavy investment. So they've increased the special ammo meter gains at no to low investment for primary ammo weapon final blows by 33%. So that's good for the Crucible. I guess it also exposes some issues with some of that ammo generation stuff in general, but no doubt Bungie will continue to tune it. In terms of other weapon changes though, for archetypes and adaptive hand cannons specifically, they say, with the reprisal of finite impactor recently from Iron Banner, the stats of this weapon, originally from Season 3, are not on par with the new generation of hand cannons, and as such, we are increasing the stats to be more competitive with current offerings. So for Finite Impactor, they're increasing range from 36 to 46, handling from 45 to 55, and reload speed from 40 to 50, which to be fair will do quite a lot for that hand cannon statistically. I thought it felt a bit meh, I didn't really compare the stats, but it makes sense, so hopefully that's going to be better next week. Otherwise, on spread chart hand cannons, they say while they have seen their kills and effectiveness fall significantly after their original nerf earlier this season, they still feel too easy to use and too forgiving for their strength within Crucible, and we want these weapons to feel a little bit more like a punchy short-range bruiser, which means making them a little bit less snappy and easy to control, as well as pushing their effective range down. In live, these weapons compete around lower end of the sidearm range, but with these changes, they will have moved closer to the range of slug shotguns. So to offset these changes in PvE, they've increased their damage bonus versus combatants. So the bonus damage versus enemies goes from 8 to 15% in PvE, but across the board, they've reduced range by 5%, increased spread by 10%, recoil by 25%, and handling has been reduced by 10%. So statistically, quite big changes to them. Although some rolls of those hand cannons can do pretty well, especially combined with some of the other mods and even artifact perks we have at the moment. So the damage bonus in PvE will be pretty juicy, but give me your impressions on that. Otherwise, For heavy burst sidearms, they say they're very strong in close range meta, even after the directed nerf to forgiveness. And with their main competition coming down, in playtests, heavy bursts were proving to be too easy to use for the range that they offer. So we've decided for this balance pass to reduce that ease of use rather than further nerfing the range, and this change will require more precision to land an optimal time to kill, and will slow down the time to kill for all body shots. So reducing the base damage taken, body shot damage goes from 33 to 31, and crit damage from 52.8 to 49.6. And so there we have it. Those are the small additions of weapon changes coming in the update next week. I believe there'll also be some extra sandbox tuning for certain abilities in the game. And even beyond next week, there's an update the week after that that's got additional power changes and all these kinds of things. So in some ways, the October update changes actually will be delivered across 2 different patches in the next 2 weeks. So I'll keep you posted, maybe I'll round up all of the stuff we currently know, because there are quite a few updates. But otherwise, they speak about the exotic mission, Heliostat, and they say this launches October 7th, where we return to the Plaguelands to finish what Maya began with her daring heist on the Vanguard Vault. The conductor seeks to expand the reach of her Echo using abandoned Warsat technology, storm the Golden Age facility alongside psionic allies to ruin Maya's plans, and claim the Wolfsbane exotic axe as your own. And of course, with it being an exotic mission, and Bungie also having kind of teased a bit of some kind of narrative content, I guess, for Ash and Iron, this is probably it, really. But they say the new exotic axe is the first of its kind, and a homage to times past. Reap restorative quicksilver nanites when hitting and killing targets. These nanites fly to the wielder, attaching to the axe, and reconstruct the blade to something even greater. And once enough nanites have accrued, hold reload to overclock the blade, increasing its damage output, and transform the heavy attack into a swarming, flaming Quicksilver Swarmnado. And I guess that's why the axe has different appearances. It kind of starts as a broken axe, and then as we charge it up, it looks more like what we can see on the screenshot there. In terms of the behavior and rewards for the exotic mission, though, they say, yes, it was originally named Warsat Heist when they first announced it, and they wanted to provide a chance for players to tackle the new mission with friends for the first time, or help new friends get their first completion while still getting potential rewards. So when tackling the new exotic mission for the first time, players will be locked at normal difficulty and fixed modifiers for a consistent experience. You'll be rewarded with a power bump for all fireteam members, no matter where in the power journey they're at, and once completed, the full portal tiers and modifier customization options will be available in Pinnacle Ops, and you'll need to be configured appropriately for continued power progression on future runs. So there's kind of an initial run, which is going to be standardized, and then it basically becomes a portal Pinnacle Ops activity, where we can apply modifiers and all of that kind of stuff. But they do say it's important to note that players who have not yet completed their first run cannot join a normal unlocked version. However, players on their first run can invite players who have already completed their first run to play with them. How is it that I'm somehow feeling confused by this explanation? Anyway, players above 200 power who've already completed their first run will get tier 1 rewards capped at 200 for playing with friends through their first Heliostat run, and players below 200 who have already completed their first run may still receive rewards that gain them power while running through it for the first time. So they're trying to make the initial run friendly for all types of players at all different power levels, which makes sense. Outside of that, it will be a portal activity in Pinnacle Ops, and there'll be additional drops in there, based on what Bungie have said, referring to gear tiers. So yeah, I find it a bit weird, the kind of capping of rewards and the power stuff, but to be honest, I'm not that fussed. I kind of just want the axe. So let us know if you'll be jumping into that. Obviously, one of the highlights really for the content drop we got with Ash and Iron. Unfortunately, it's taken a month after Ash and Iron dropped before we got it, but not long to go now, and we'll see how it all pans out next week. Otherwise in the TWID, Bungie referenced the Legacy of the Past soundtrack. A new soundtrack with a bunch of dope Destiny music. Of course, Destiny music on the most part never disappoints really, so if you want to check that out, it's linked in the TWID down below. There's also a section about the epic raid that happened over the last weekend, where Clan Elysium took a world first once again. So credit to those for that. Another very nice achievement indeed. Otherwise, the TWID has known issues, so Banshee 44 only having 2 daily bounties, repeatable bounties not being claimed as intended, although he will still take the Glimmer, so keep that in mind. They're also aware of issues with some of the quests for Desert Perpetual Epic Raid. If you've been affected by any of those, it looks like some of the fixes are coming up down the road. Then they also say clan reward engrams can't be claimed by players over 500 power. Some folks have said if you drop below 500 power, you'll be able to pick them up. Others have said that that doesn't work. They also say players who didn't earn the 3rd iteration exotic while it was available are unable to progress past Guardian rank 6, Was that a specific requirement for that? I'm guessing it was, but that's pretty unfortunate. Not cool for folks trying to catch up during the game right now. So hopefully they'll get a fix for it. Otherwise, a couple of extra things there, but as always, Bungie have a full thread of known issues, which you can find in the TWID as well if you need to. Otherwise, for now, that is what they speak about. So only other thing to mention is DMG did say in the last couple of days, they are still working on the roadmap, which they promised in the Ash and Iron live stream. So no word on when we'll get it yet, but it's coming up soon, hopefully. Otherwise, like I said, there are extra changes coming in the next couple of updates, but otherwise Bungie kind of say what they have to this week, and there isn't too much more conversation regarding power and all of those kind of things, which, to be fair, while it needs improving, I think players are also getting kind of tired of listening to the conversation about power over and over again. There are more changes coming up on the 14th of October for that, and I'll have a recap of them all soon. They were from, I think, TWID last week, was it? Yeah, so much to talk about. Guys, if you've enjoyed the video, a rating really does help us out. Be sure as well to get subscribed, and I'll keep you up to date with all of that content when we get to it next week. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.